This week's episode features our first return guest to the Sauce Talk podcast. You see, when I first started this podcast, I had every intention of bringing back certain return guests to the show, specifically from what I like to call the audio-only era. You see, I started this podcast in October of 2023, and for an entire year, I had no video and I did only audio episodes. Today's guest falls under that audio-only era, and we ended on a crazy note, and his life changed drastically since the day we recorded that episode. So I wanted to bring him back on the show. You all remember him from episode 18. He was the beverage director at Beef Bar. He's a mixologist, and he's a wonderful human being. So without further ado, please welcome again, Sean Struss. You're now listening to the Sauce Talk podcast. What up, everybody? It's your boy Al Siggity Sauce, and welcome back to the Sauce Talk podcast. Today, we have a very special episode for you all. This is the first return guest of the Sauce Talk podcast. You might remember him from episode 18. He is the greatest man alive, beverage director, mixologist extraordinaire, and just a fantastic human being. My boy, Shawnee Struss. What's up, baby?
What's up, Sauce, man? So thank you so much for having me, man. I'm so flattered to be here.
I'm glad you
happy
came
to just
through.
sit and talk with you, man. What a pleasure.
I mean, I always said that I wanted to have certain return guests on the show. It just so happened that it worked out that you were going to be the first one. But what's even crazier is since the last time we recorded, which was almost a year ago to the day, when you and I released our episode 18, which was July of 2024. And now we're here in June of 2025. And your life since that episode changed dramatically.
Drastically, yeah. Like probably the most life I've ever lived in a year.
So I had to just revisit that, because not only do I want to know for my personal self, but I think people that were invested in our episode, because to be quite honest, one of my favorite episodes ever.
Thank you.
Because we were both in our vulnerable states. We both cried a bunch. It was a human experience.
Yeah,
that episode. Sure. You know what I mean? So I really want to revisit it. And ever since that day, I don't even know where to start, because your life just totally took a crazy spin.
Yeah.
So I guess we ended at, you were the beverage director at the Beef Bar. Mm-hmm. Life was going fantastic for you. You were at the same time simultaneously actively looking for your own space with some investors. And off camera, you were going to ask the person you were with that you talked about during that last 40 minutes, so much about that you were going to ask her for your hand in marriage. Since that day, we recorded, episode dropped, everything went out the window. You left the Beef Bar, relationship broke up. So much stuff happened. So I guess what I want to say is we should start at, you exiting the Beef Bar, because that might have been the first thing that happened, right?
For sure. And I think that's probably the easiest to decipher why and when.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know me personally to know that I always have maybe even a problem with working, how much I work and the manner in which I do it. And a lot of that is just personal empathy and wanting to support my team. And I think that's super important. And frankly, I think the one thing I've learned over this year is that's never going to change. Trying to set better boundaries and look out for myself, but definitely massively failing. Probably even worse than I was a year ago due to other shit. But yeah, it wasn't really a concept that I necessarily aligned with. It certainly wasn't the kind of space that I would go to in my free time. You know what I mean? And being in hospitality, I think the perfect job is a place that you would want to take your best friends or your family or your significant other. And I just didn't really align with, what they did. Not to say that they're not great at what they do, but it's just not something I really saw myself affiliated with or associated with. It's just kind of, flashy and so on and so forth.
Was this something that you didn't realize until you were knee deep in? Or was it more just, let me just take a chance at this opportunity and see where it unfolds?
Sure. I think a little of both. I think, you know, subconsciously, maybe I knew those things. I mean, overtly, you know, my ex Justine definitely, you know, raised those warning flags when I took the job, saying that, you know, this doesn't seem like what you really want to be doing. Are you sure you want to do this? So on and so forth. And
Really?
yeah, I just thought it was, you know, such a good opportunity to open up this, you know, restaurant that cost more than $10 million to build and have, you know, free reign of a cocktail menu and a wine list. I thought was really exciting. And a lot of things about it were amazing. And I do think it was the right move for me at the time. But yeah, just absolutely ridiculous work-life balance there. Never really feeling satisfied, micromanaging, that kind of stuff. I think the like aha moment of where I was having my issues with them and with the job. But I remember her and I had gone to Miami, and like I think we had like an evening flight back, like 7 or 8 o'clock, whatever. So we like went to the beach for the day, and just the whole fucking time, emails, the whole time for like some bullshit. Obviously that annoyed her, as it should have. It annoyed me too. And it was just like rude on their part. And I just kind of found myself, you know, if you're working for a relatively corporate company, like, you know, at the end of the day, you're either going to be the person that like puts up your out of office email and is completely inaccessible, or you're going to be the person that like wants to solve problems, but you hope that people are only going to bother you if it's, you know, time sensitive and really important. Yeah. So I remember that day on the beach being like, I'm leaving this job.
Wow.
And
at that point, how long were you in the restaurant at this point?
It probably was only like 10 months or so, you know, including pre-opening, which was also pretty massive, writing up all the cocktail recipes, working on the wine list and all the SOPs and R&Ding a cocktail menu. Yeah, something like 10 months.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah. And it was weird. You know, they had this like corporate office on like, I think it was like 52nd Street on like the 25th floor of a building. I'm like looking out at Central Park. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this is not my vibe. But
it's not your forte. It wasn't something that you really align with.
Yeah. And like amazing opportunity. There's, you know, several people that are still within the company that are great friends, and, you know, even ownership, although, you know, I didn't always see eye to eye with them. I still have massive respect for them and love for them and appreciate the opportunity they gave me. And yeah, you know, would love to see them. If I see them on the street, I'm definitely going to show love.
What's your greatest takeaway that was positive to you that you think from exiting that place? What your time spent there, which was short lived. Mm-hmm. What's your greatest takeaway from it that you think will help you become a better you?
I think like I think it's always going to be the same for me, that like my greatest takeaway from any of these things I've ever done is going to be like the people I've met along the way. You know, countless people there are like still big parts of my life. Mostly staff, some guests, which is really cool. Like creating a connection with people because you helped elevate their evening or their birthday or their anniversary, and them kind of seeing that and breaking the wall down of someone who's serving them to just like, this human is invested in my experience tonight. It's like really, really special. But definitely the staff. There's so many great people. You know, one of my best friends was like someone who I've always like heard about for like 2 or 3 years. Like, oh, you should work with him. His name's Hugo. He's the best. I think you guys would work really well together. You remind me of one another, but your skill sets are kind of like yin yang vibes. So yeah, I couldn't have done that without him. And he, you know, became one of my best friends for sure. Just lost him to Miami, unfortunately, but he'll be back.
Oh, really? Yeah. He went out there to party a little bit or for a business venture?
Neither. He's kind of, I mean, I'm sure he'll absolutely crush it, but he's down there like be closer to family.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he's with his partner, Josie, and they're doing their thing. But we talk like pretty much every day. That
restaurant bar lifestyle, it takes a toll on you. And sometimes after I interview a lot of chefs, a lot of people in your position, a lot of people, it seems like they take these hiatuses where things become too heavy, too much for you to physically and mentally handle. They just need an escape for a while, then they come back to reality.
I think that if my personal life hadn't changed as drastically after leaving this job, that I probably would have done the same. But, I was with someone for 8 years that I kind of envisioned sharing the rest of my life with, and that kind of fell apart. So I just swam even deeper. And I don't know. I think I've completely forgot how to turn it off at this point, frankly.
Wow. Yeah, because like I said to the listeners and viewers, if you listen to our last episode, which is episode 18, it was an emotional roller coaster between both of us. We both shared a lot of feelings and stuff. We both were in our vulnerable states. And the one thing is you shared your love for not only what you do, you shared your love for who was your significant other at that time. And I went back recently and listened to that last hour, and I'm like, man,
fucking trip, huh?
Well, it's a trip, and it kind of hurt me. It kills me because to see how excited you were, how happy you were about this person, and I don't know her, so I'm not trying to. This is just my perception. So no offense to her. This is not a hit piece. This is just you're witnessing a friendly exchange between two guys that love each other. And we're just sharing. I haven't seen you in a while since that day, actually.
Yeah, and definitely, certainly not a hit piece in any way. I will always wish her nothing but love and happiness, and she'll always be, at this moment, the most impactful person of my entire life. And I know that she's always going to be in that place for me.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not a hit piece. It's just, I'm genuinely curious. And you and I both like to wear our hearts on our sleeves. So us together, I guess you can call a deadly combination. Yeah. No Tupac and Big L, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But, so after that episode we had talking about that, we didn't talk about this simultaneously. You were looking for your own space. Yes. Right? So tell me a little bit about that before we go a little further into you and your relationship with Justine. You have investors that were backing you to find said space, right? And what's your idea behind it? And I believe you're still actively present day looking for a space. What is it you exactly seek to accomplish? And did she actually have any input or direction in that as well?
So the particular kind of concept, ideally in a perfect world, I'll get to open multiple concepts, right? But, this one is still at the absolute forefront of my mind. I'm still very much working on it. Yeah. But obviously, new and exciting endeavors present themselves to me frequently. Yeah. But, this is the one thing I've kind of always had as a constant, especially since, we last spoke. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if did I talk about it at all last time?
Not on the episode, privately. So this is for the viewers and listeners, the first.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know we talked about Tony at length, and, we're coming up on 2-year anniversary of his death, which is just so bizarre.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, it's a love letter to him, dude. It's going to be called Pretty Tony, and I'm still actively pursuing it. And I have an avenue to do it now. Frankly, I have a key in my pocket where if I wanted to call it Pretty Tony, I could. But I'm unfortunately, probably, at my own detriment, really emotionally attached and unwavering that, for it to be that, I'm just kind of uncompromising. And I would only call it that, make it that, have it be that if I could, carry it out exactly as I want to, exactly as I think he would have wanted to, and a place that would, make everyone that still knows and loves him just feel him. So I don't just want to get keys to a space and slap a name on it and call it that. But that's what I want. And I'm still very much working on it, and I believe in it, and I know it'll happen, and I'd rather it be sooner than later, but I need it to be what I think it needs to be. Of course. Instead of just getting it open. There's other shit I can do to just get open.
If you could elaborate for me, What is the ideal space for you to carry out this vision? What is it? What are the key elements that you require for you to say, I'm ready, this is going to be Pretty Tony? What are the key elements that require for you to carry this out, this vision?
I mean, obviously the space is important, right? I think you could make an argument that the team is equally or more so important. And there's some pillars of this concept that I'm not willing to sacrifice, especially with design, with Lauren Baker, who was, Tony's fiance and remains a really dear personal friend to this day. And
so she's going to carry out the layout of the place?
Yeah, she would do all in the interior design. And, we talk about it from time to time. Whenever I see a place, I'll send it to her and just say, what do you think? And she knows exactly what I mean by what do you think? Like,
is that her profession in general?
Yeah.
Really?
She worked with a really big firm for a long time. She's been out doing her own thing now for, I want to say, a little over a year. Just obviously who had a better window to his soul and also just happens to be immensely talented and incredibly cool. So it's got to be her. And then obviously the team is incredibly important from a culinary aspect and also from just like a capital and investment aspect. I kind of want people to leave me the fuck alone. I'm never going to say that it's going to be like a cash cow. It's not. It might be, but it's definitely a passion project. And it's challenging to get people to maybe buy into that. Cause I could line up, X's and O's on just a money making machine really easily. But, when you want to not sacrifice certain things, costs can obviously add up, and more often than not, that sinks places. But, I believe in this concept, and, even after this year, I still think love is the master plan, and there's all different kinds of love, and I can't think of a better way to motivate myself to be great every day than to, just keep writing this love letter to him every day and let people experience that. And that's very much where my heart lies. I'm working on 4 other things right now that are not, Pretty Tony related, and that's just always going to be me. But, I'm definitely hitting a point emotionally where I would like to just deep dive into one thing, and I would like to hope that it would be that.
I have a question regarding this Pretty Tony project, just because I'm not from this space and I don't typically know how things work, right? The one thing I do know is this. There's 2 ways to open a restaurant or a bar or a nightclub, an establishment. You do it by yourself or you do it with investors. The better of the 2, for sure, is with investors. And the reason being, hypothetically, let's say the pandemic, for reasons.
Yeah.
If the pandemic hits and there's a week where you can't open until you figure out how you can open, with what to do, all that time passes and you got to either pay these people or whatever the case may be. When you're self-funded, you're digging yourself a hole bigger than you can get out of. Whereas if you have investors, guys that have the coin, have the capital, they can take a month or 2 loss because they'll know how to get back on their feet and they're Gucci and they can continue forth.
For sure.
So I assume that's not only why you have investors backing you, because I'm sure you have the resources to do it on your own because you're very smart that way financially. But who are these investors? You don't have to say them by name at all because it's not my business.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how this idea came to fruition, how you planned this thing out, and how the working parts actually move.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of them are personal friends that I've known for a really long time that might want to invest a dollar amount that's not something that would make you and I shit our pants, something approachable. A lot of them are, clients and guests that I've met over the years. You sell, someone enough $3,000 bottles of wine and they ask for you when they walk in, and then you guys text each other and get a drink every now and then. Eventually you're going to run it by them.
Yeah, you build a relationship and the rapport, if you will.
They just buy into you, you know what I mean? So I would say the bulk of it is going to come from people like that. And obviously with the general like ethos of this project, like I would want as many friends and family to be involved, you know, regardless of the amount. Obviously you want to hold enough equity to still feel like it's fucking yours. But, you know, you want to extend that, I think. And people have a lot of reasons to want to be involved with something like that, you know, outside of Pretty Tony. Just, you know, it's kind of cool to own a bar or restaurant.
Of course.
You know, and I don't, you know, I feel like I've lost my rose-colored glasses a long time ago, but, you know, I'm certainly not foolish enough to think that there's no way I could possibly fail. But I like that pressure a lot. And I find myself probably subconsciously driving myself into professional situations where I have to work under those levels of pressure. Yeah. You know, whether it's prepping until 5 a.m. one night because I have a tasting the next day, you know, over the last 3 weeks, you know, and I know we'll dive into specific projects probably, but over the last 3 weeks, I've probably worked like 85 to 90 hours a week.
My God.
I'm at, you know, one of, if not the hottest restaurants in New York City, bartending. And then started a consultation with, you know, what I consider to be the coolest and probably hottest club in Brooklyn right now, which has a pretty robust cocktail program. So, you know, my mornings would start at Signal at like 10 a.m., you know, taking meetings with reps, prepping cocktails, writing out SOPs, writing out the bar Bible, opening a fucking bar and restaurant. There's always something. You know, you go in there with a punch list of 10 things and you're lucky if you get one thing done because shit just keeps piling up.
Yeah.
So get there at 10, leave at 2, fly to Soho, get there at 3, leave there at 1, get back at 2 in the morning, leave at like 5, in bed by 5:30, wake up at 9, do it again. Sometimes I'll eat in the middle.
Yeah, that lifestyle is, it's not fun. Well, I shouldn't say it's not fun. It's unforgiving.
Think that's fair. Unforgiving is a really good way of putting it. But like I'd be lying if I said, you know, I'd be lying if I said that I don't think I need it right now. You know?
Yeah.
I remember looking back, craving free time, and now kind of being afraid of it.
Well, idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah. So. Yeah. You know, it's nice to be able to golf when I'm off for the day.
Little Crystal Springs.
Yeah, I love it. I do still love it, even though it breaks me most of the time. And, you know, golfing on 3 hours of sleep after fucking scooping ice for 6 hours as a 38-year-old man is, you know, you're not really set up.
Yeah.
But I love it. Even when I play bad, you know, I still love it. But yeah, I kind of just feel like I'm in a place where I still need to be really busy.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So after you make this conscious decision to leave the beef bar, you had a great position, a powerful position, if you will.
Yeah, they paid me very well.
You were moving, doing it.
Let me wear cool suits. I didn't have to be, you know, navy blue fine dining guy and rock a Prada neckerchief and some nylon pants. It was dope.
Even though you love Prada.
That's my shit. But no logos.
Yeah, no logos. You know, you leave from there, you tell me off camera, obviously you couldn't say it on the episode, that you had the ring ready. You were gonna, it was the one, and I wasn't in your atmosphere.
Yeah.
Close. So I didn't know what the situation was like. All I could go was based off of what you told me.
Yeah.
On that episode. And anybody that listened to that, knew like he loved that woman. Yeah. Like it's bound to pop. You know what I mean? And after that, just you left the beef bar. You had aspirations to open Pretty Tony faster than you do now because now you're a little preoccupied with other things. investors in play, all this stuff is moving not only in your favor, but in motion.
Yeah.
And then bang. I'll never forget talking to you and just, I don't even know what to call it, just it took the wind out of my lungs. You know what I mean? Even though like I'm not involved in it, like people that I love that are close, like I live, I'm able to live vicariously through you, and I'm going to take a little bit of that pain with me.
Yeah.
And sorry, you were fucked up, and what happened? Because like I said, I don't know everything. I'm not with you every day. Mm-hmm. So it could appear like daisies and roses to me. Yeah. But behind the scenes, maybe it's different. Just your life just flipped. What the fuck happened? If you could even speak on it.
I think it would be a lot easier in a lot of ways and make a lot more sense if there was like a toxic event or infidelity or something like that. Unfortunately, things aren't always that clear cut. And again, she's the absolute best. I wish her nothing but the best. There's like very few ways to get me mad, but like if and when, someone would hear that we parted ways and they were to drag her in any way, I would get pretty upset. Yeah. And I still do. And not that happens regularly. But yeah, the human existence and condition is really tough, and things probably, things certainly, I suppose, weren't perfect at the time. And I'm sure there were countless, contributions on both of our parts that were contributing factors to that. And, I'm happy to take ownership of, my lifestyle and my presence and being present. And, there's a lot of things I'm sure I could have done differently. And I don't know that would have changed the end result here. She was dealing with a lot of internal stuff. And like I said, like her journey and her happiness is still absolutely paramount to me. And I think for her to find that and her identity, she needed to be by herself, or at least outside of our relationship. So, yeah. You can only beg so much. Yeah. You can only hope for so long. Yeah. And, we took like some time apart, for maybe 30 or 60 days. I think we did like 30 days apart and then had a conversation and then another 30 and then that was it. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was the shock of my lifetime. Yeah. Would I have been shocked that there was a big conversation and things needed to change or be addressed or at least be spoken about? No, but like, yeah. I mean, the fact that it just kind of ended is still something I struggle with, for sure.
Yeah, it's tough with relationships and stuff, because sometimes, like, when you're in the thick of it, you don't realize certain things, certain aspects of the relationship or the dynamic. And then once you're removed from it for a certain amount of time, you can recant, look back, and realize, oh, maybe this is where things went wrong, or this is maybe this is for the best, maybe this is for that. Would you say that you think, retrospectively speaking, this is for the best, or do you still kind of feel yourself like in a place of like wonder, like, or confusion, if you will?
For her to be happy and whole, if she needed to be alone, then I guess begrudgingly I can say it's for the best. But it's still really hard to find that for myself. It is.
I told myself I wouldn't ask you this.
Fucking do it.
Earlier
sure you
today.
Got a nice big red button over there you can hit.
I told myself I wouldn't ask you this.
Yeah, do it. Ask away.
Do you still love her?
I'll always love her. I'll always love her. I did, you know, yes, I'll always love her. Always. You know, and you know me, I'm a relationship guy, I'm a romantic, and you know, there are a big moment for me was like maybe meeting someone new and being like, you know, would I want a fresh start with this person, or would I want a second chance with Justine, and maybe saying the new person, which didn't work out, you know.
Not even that. I mean, like you gotta factor trauma in it, right? Like when I couldn't imagine, because I've had a couple of relationships in my life, and they were, I mean, if they went a year and a half, 2 years, to me, that's not long enough to really feel the trauma, the pain, right? But I couldn't imagine being with somebody for the better part of a decade and then having it end. Like, regardless if it was roses and daisies and stuff, when you're with somebody every day, you know their every move, every idiosyncrasy. And I don't mean to sound childish when I say this, but you know that it's their fart when they fart. Like, it sounds stupid and childish, but like when you're with somebody for that long and you're with them every day, you know everything about them, the way they move, the way their lip quivers when certain words get spoken. All this stuff is just when I was talking to you, when you were going through this and you were breaking down on the phone to me, like I said, I couldn't breathe because I was kind of like taking in your energy. Yeah. And I just, when you have that much time invested, I couldn't imagine, like, breakups in general are hard, but when they have that much time, it's even worse. And it's just, it's so hard to really grasp feeling over what's right, you know, and it's just hearing you through this process and hearing the impact and all that stuff. It's just, it was kind of hard for me to even, like, you know, from the outside to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, it you know, my emotions and mindset and all that, you know, over the last, you know, since we broke up, you know, I've definitely been taken to places that I never thought I would be emotionally. I didn't think I was capable of being. You know, Lauren actually asked me 2 days ago, "Are you healed yet?"
Lauren, your sister?
Lauren, the interior designer, Tony's former partner.
Tony's wife.
Yeah. She asked me if I was healed. And, I said, no. I wouldn't say that I'm healed, but I'm more functional now. Love is fucked. I don't think I'll ever be completely healed. Not, you know what I mean? Not in the sense of like the trauma of breaking up, but I don't know. You know, I hope I find love and a partner to rock it out with forever. But if and when that happens, I don't know that I'll ever feel like that there was this other part. You know, I think anyone who goes through loss in life, loses someone big to them, or a partner after a split, or going through a divorce, or, you know, whatever, regardless of if both parties think it's the best thing, I don't know that you like ever fully recover. And I don't know that you should.
Yeah.
You know, I guess this is healthy to talk about for people to hear, because I don't know. There's a number of reasons why people could be feeling a similar way. But, you know, I've been in therapy for a long time, and I love my therapist. And, you know, it's life. There's good weeks and bad weeks. And, you know, last week was a bad week. And, you know, or at least a bad day in a regular week. I don't know. It was a bad fucking hour that I shared with her. And, you know, she said, maybe like it's time we start like seriously talking about antidepressants. And I don't know what the fuck my problem is. I just don't want to do that. And my response to that was like, you know, like, I know they do a lot of good for a lot of people, but like, I feel like I should be fucking depressed.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
It might be out of my jurisdiction, if you will. If the first thing is, do you think that your last session is what triggered your therapist to say and suggest that? Or do you think it's been an accumulation of stuff, and you can't tell me exactly what you're telling her, obviously, because it's a private session, but what do you think would trigger your therapist to say that? Or are you saying stuff to her that is really like, are you really that bad in a mental spot right now that she would suggest some sort of thing? Or do you think that she's just being one of those careless, therapists that just wants that,
like
that
throw
script
pills
money?
at it? No.
You know what I mean?
She's great. And I don't know if it's general disposition or, something I might have said,
Is it linked to your ex that you still, like, is that what it is?
I think a lot of it. I think it's just a general woe, which can certainly cross several categories.
Let me ask you this more importantly.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer.
Yeah. I'll probably answer.
If she hit you up tomorrow and said she wanted to talk, would you meet with her or not?
I think I would meet with her to talk. Yeah. I mean, we don't talk, Sucks. I don't know that I can handle it though, frankly. She texted me on my birthday. I texted her on hers, and that's all we've spoken.
Oh, so you have talked, sort of. That you don't really.
A 2-line text.
I couldn't consider that talking, but it means I don't want to. The thing is, I'm just analyzing. I don't want to fill your head with shit.
There are days when I wish that I really believed that there was something there to analyze, but I really don't think there is. I think it's a general sense of appreciation and respect and nothing more than that. Her parents were apart for like a year before they got together and got married. And, going through the breakup, we cried a ton together. And there were times when she would bring that up. And there was certainly a long time of me having hope that might be what happens for us. And I guess what I've grieved most recently is kind of losing that.
Because it's been about that time that you had in your head.
Not quite, but it's close. And I just feel like I don't know that I see that being realistic.
Yeah, that must be hard.
Yeah, losing that, like, what if, losing the maybe is just as hard as like losing the real thing, I think. For me, at least.
So I guess, like, from my observation, it's safe to say you haven't really fully let go. You still have some sort of morsel of hope sitting in there.
I don't think I do.
You don't have hope?
I don't think so, no. But that hasn't affected like the pain, just like a different thing to grieve.
Yeah.
The
realization.
Yeah. God, what the fuck do you compare that to, right? Like, I don't know. This seems selfish and insensitive, but I'm gonna like reach, I guess, like losing a parent maybe, and having to like celebrate Mother's Day or something like that. It's like you already lost this thing, and I'm sorry. I know that hits home for you.
No, it's fine.
My fault, bud. It's just like this fresh grieving.
Yeah.
For these like days that are just so different now. Dude, I fucking dreaded Christmas like I was fucking going to Vietnam. Like, dreaded my birthday for the text, dreaded her birthday, knowing I had to text. And I wanted to wish her a happy birthday. Yeah, I mean, all those days, it's grieving, it's loss, it's different than death, and it's not as finite. Yeah. I mean, it's not as, final, but like you said, it's just like you built a life with someone and it's gone. There's a learning curve to being functional.
Oh, there's a complete learning curve. It's the worst. The worst part of life is that, that tragedy, that grief, because you're used to doing something every day with that person. Everything. And I just I love,
I'm
with you.
I always have, but
it's safe to say you love to feel in general as a whole.
Yeah. And love has never been fair to me, dude. One of my exes died when I was 21.
Like we talked about on our last episode
18. Go check up on that. But yeah, but I still haven't lost that about me. Still very much romantic. Definitely moving differently, I suppose, probably as a coping mechanism than I have in the past.
Yeah.
And we spoke, I'll never forget, I was broken, and my sister let me stay with her for a couple weeks, a month, 2 months, I don't even fucking remember. And I had met someone. I don't think I got you on the phone that day. I think I left you a voice note. Because if anyone watching this has ever gotten a voice note from Alsauce, it is literally one of the greatest gifts in life. I've never listened to one once. Ever. It's like a Beatles album. I listened 6 times. But I was excited, and I remember leaving you a voice memo. It was a fucking freezing day. It was goddamn miserable out. I was walking down Wythe to go to Muji to buy a fucking toiletry bag or something for my backpack. Something so dumb and innocuous. But I had checked in at a really low point with you, and I felt it was important to check in when I found some hope. Super dope woman, didn't work out. We never really got, anything happening on a serious level. Just an exciting person I met that I spent time with and was excited about romantically, and didn't happen. And I look back on it now, and I appreciate this woman so much because she'll always be the one to show me that I will be capable of falling for someone new, regardless of how that situation's going to treat me. It is possible. You still get down when you're with that person, thinking about, what this month could have looked like if everything didn't change. But I was taking hope, and I still am, just taking hope anywhere I can find it.
Yeah, it's hard. Safe to say I don't want to be in your shoes. All that stuff, especially when you're guys like us, we're very emotional.
Yeah.
We thrive off feeling, whether it hurts or not. We enjoy to actually feel. And man, I got to tell you, those conversations that I had with you, they kind of fucked me up. They kind of.
Sorry.
No, I don't.
Love is the burden.
Yeah, it was meant for me to feel it. It's tough to. Because when you can't take something back, or you can't change something.
Yeah.
It's that definitive moment is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And when you can't change the past or what is to come, it's you have to deal with life now forever this way.
Yeah.
With, not to say that there isn't hope, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that thing you were counting on and relying on is gone. So
yeah, it's tough.
You can't just find a new thing. You got to let it kind of happen, which for me is really challenging.
I think the hardest part of it is the scarring, because moving forward, it changes how you move forward. Now you're going to be more apprehensive, and you're going to keep things at arm's reach because you don't want them to get too close, but you want to get close because you want to feel that thing that reminds you of what felt good, but you don't want it to get too close because you don't want to be in that hole you were, and then it fuck you up again. So it's like you're sitting there playing this fucking rock'em sock'em robot. I'm going to throw a punch. I'm going to get a punch. I'm going to throw a punch. And what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I probably should be more apprehensive than I am, frankly.
Really? Well, that's a good thing, I guess.
And I think there's different avenues that I've walked down in this time as a single man. But yeah, I don't think that, I just think I'm wired for that. I think I'm wired to want everything to be a big thing. I think that's who I am. And I think that for the most part, it's kind of worked out. It's a sliding scale, but.
Well, I'll say this. I'm happy to see you happy, which you have been the past, some odd months that we've been talking. And it seems like you've pretty much bounced back, back on track. You're in a good rotation, a good motion. And it seems like you're in good spirits.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm definitely trying, and I'm functioning at a high level professionally. I feel doing a better job of connecting with friends, and I wear a mask for a living, dude.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Which
so
is, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing too.
Yeah. It's heavy. But I also I'm too empathetic that I feel awful that you hurt after speaking with me. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
just
not your
friendship
fault.
and love.
That's
I know, but
me.
that's how my fucking dumb mind works.
No.
No, I know.
Don't ever.
I know I shouldn't, but I do. And that's
never
how that goes. No, I don't regret anything. I wouldn't.
I'd love to have many more moments like that with you. No, I don't want you to hurt.
Seems like you probably will. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I guess the targets kind of moved, and for a while there it was fucked. Wasn't eating. I mean, I'm still not sleeping, but now I can sleep. I just choose not to.
No, dude, I was worried.
Yeah,
I was really. I told my wife, I'm like, I didn't tell her the whole gist.
Yeah,
but I was like, yo, I'm worried about my man. He sounds bad. I wish I could be physically near him.
Yeah,
so I could just let you know it's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
because that's how bad you sounded. I didn't want you to get silly.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying by silly.
Yeah,
I didn't want you to start thinking outside the box and do something stupid and permanent.
Yeah, I mean, I needed that presence sometimes, and people gave me that presence.
That's good.
And people that I probably didn't speak with as deeply as you, but just people.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, really never dealing with anxiety my entire life and not having an appreciation for what that meant and felt like. And I find it a lot now. I found it a lot more a couple months ago, but I still feel it, I don't know, semi-frequently. It sucks.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
Yeah, I remember it was election time. And we don't have to get political, but let's just say me and my parents' politics couldn't be more different. And, they got their news on, and there was a couple weeks where I just didn't really want to be alone without, crawling too far into the darkness of what that really means. And staying with my parents. We lived so fucking far, 2 hours from New York City. So leaving work at 1, driving out there, crashing there, leaving there, driving 2 hours to work, coming back, just because there were different reasons on different days. I kept our apartment, which is, it's full of ghosts.
When you say our apartment,
where Justine and I lived. Yeah, I have that apartment still.
I could imagine. What the fuck?
It seemed real daunting when I first started staying there. Right. And, there was a time in the beginning where I convinced myself that, we'll get back together. So, this is a good thing that I'm saving this. But then it became no, I'm going to make this shit mine. There was a time when I thought about leaving New York.
On a permanent level?
At least I don't know, I'm going to go fucking live in Portugal for a year. Whatever. Just running away, essentially. And then, kind of reclaiming my space and reclaiming my fucking town. Because it is. And I have fucking deep roots there and, deep roots here in Jersey too. And it was tough. And, there's still some times where it's just weird being there. You fucking move a picture around, you fucking get a new chair. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
a lot of memories in there. But I'm glad I kept it. I think it's empowering and, the rose bush is still blooming and life goes on. It's tough. If I had all the money in the world, would I have moved? Probably. But I don't.
I want to ask you an odd question.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds good.
Oh, I don't envy you in that grieving process because that's the one thing I don't miss about dating and stuff is the breakups. Because it's not, even if it's on a minuscule level and you've been with somebody for a year only. And
yeah, if I was 13, I'd probably be speaking the same way, right? Yeah. About someone I dated for 3 months, just being dramatic and it feels like your world crumbles.
Yeah. But that feeling of loss of, it's so crazy because back in your head that feeling of loss is temporary and you're going to overcome said loss. But it's like you always tend to grab towards the misery and you can't. It's a fucking, breakups are horrible.
Yeah.
Especially when you really cared about the other person. They're tough and days are fucking miserable. You will climb out of that hole. But depending on how long you've been with that person, how much you felt for that person, that hole is deep. And one thing that always stays with that grieving process is music. And not only does it help, not only does music help with that process, but it's imperative that you're going to go through your own personal playlist to navigate through that time. And it's going to help you climb out of that hole, but you're going to listen to these songs and you're going to be crying like a fucking baby. But the weird thing about it is you're going to enjoy crying while listening to them. And that's what's crazy about music is it can put you in a place, it could dig you deeper in the hole that you're in, but it'll also make you simultaneously enjoy that hole that you buried yourself in. So with that being said, what music were you listening to during this grieving process with you and Justine?
This will be the bit. She was a musically inclined person. She is an incredibly talented singer. One of the things I miss the most is just hearing her sing around the house, doing dishes, whatever, not on stage. And, the first couple months, I literally was incapable of listening to music. It's news podcasts. The election probably helped because there was always something to be plugged into, And if someone was going to tell me the polio vaccine was stupid, I could fucking get right in their face because I had 18 hours of knowledge on it.
Shout out RFK, you
fucking bozo.
You
my
fruit
God.
cup.
Fun guy. That for me was really fucking scary. maybe more so than anything else. Because I've always loved kind of jazz and blues and, you know, emotionally evoking and somewhat sad music. I remember like having a huge Elliott Smith phase and like,
Oh, dude, Elliot is.
yeah, we steered real clear of him for a long time.
I don't blame you because his story matched with any sort of sad feelings you had. It was torment.
Yeah, that's a very simple equation. Music was tough. Music was really fucking tough. But there was music before her. You know, there was 90s hip hop. There was the Beatles and Ray Charles and Stevie, and I found myself circling back and like the Hives.
Sick.
Music that my sister showed me, who I haven't spoken like nearly enough about since we've been here today. Just crying through this whole shit. Damn.
Has your sister helped you through this grieving process at all?
Dude, she's my fucking lighthouse. Yeah. She's
What's your sister's name again?
Tara.
Hi, Tara.
Best. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, if anyone saved my life through this, it's her. For sure. And music was tough. And still is. A lot.
Yeah, I could imagine, man.
I'll never
But
forget.
it's necessary, which is the weird part about it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was with my good friend Hugo. Like I said, just moved to Florida. And him, and myself, and another one of our friends named Rob went to this really cool place in the East Village called Decibel, which was like a place I used to go to when I like first turned 21. It's
What a nice name.
sick.
Decibel. Love that name.
It's like an underground
gotta
sake bar in the East Village. It is nothing fancy, but that's why you go there.
I got to go
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I would love to. It's great. It's dark. It's like wooden benches. You feel transported. Which
Wow.
like I know we've spoke about for me in hospitality is like such a special feeling.
Yes.
God, and this was like my like silver linings playbook moment of the last, 6 months of my life when I was I don't know if I spoke about this on our last ep, but I feel like it's possible I did. But when we were Justine and I, when we went to San Francisco for the last time, I guess this was not this Christmas, the previous year, her uncle's a guitar player. She's obviously a singer. Her grandmother lives close to the family in like an assisted living facility, but like it's cute.
Yeah.
It's like 6 bedrooms and it's like 6 people and they have a little garden and there's like 2 people there always holding it down. Cute. And her uncle played 2 songs for her grandma, who's, Japanese is her first language, and Justine learned this song in Japanese and sang this like Japanese love song, and it came on at Decibel.
Wow.
I don't know that I've ever like frozen so hard in my life. I've had a gun held to my head before, and like I've never felt time stop like this. It's probably 3 months ago. I was already pretty, it's all relative, right? But like I was already walking down the road of healing and moving on. But and whenever you post this, I'll throw the song up. It's really beautiful. I don't know that I'll listen to it when I find out what it's called just yet, but it's really beautiful. And it fucking just destroyed me. Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, that I like wore a mask through it. I don't think I said anything to my friends. It was Hugo's like last night in the city. I wanted to have fun. Lord knows that fucking kids heard me cry enough. And like now I can like look back and like laugh at it. Like we went to this like Detroit deep dish pizza place, and I like was sobbing. Like, that's kind of funny. Like,
sobbing over a fresh slice.
yeah, like this pepperoni is so dope, and I'm just like a wreck. Someone's drinking like a shitty frozen cocktail, and they're just like, "What the fuck?"
You're a wreck and erect over the pepperoni cups.
Yeah, they were cups. Yeah, I don't know. I've always done a decent job at finding humor in dark spaces. You know, sometimes they're more challenging than others.
Well, that speaks to you being a comedian.
Yeah,
because that's what happens.
Yeah,
you draw inspiration from dark places.
Yeah, you have to. There was a time when I kind of started writing again when I was going through it really bad, and I'm still trying to revisit, and I'm sure you'll catch me up there unannounced at one point, hopefully in the near future, but I'm just so locked into my other shit.
Yeah.
Probably to my own detriment and my own detriment of my own happiness. Trying to tap into that, but I'm failing.
No, I wouldn't say you're failing.
Well, yeah, I'm being productive, but it's tough.
Since we're on the topic of music, I don't want to leave you out to dry and solo you out and like stuff that fucks you up. There's a song that like, I mean, there isn't a song that doesn't upset me when I listen to it.
Sure.
Because I love feeling. I'm a real Pisces, like in every sense of the word. Artistic, creative, emotional, the whole nine. And, you just shared some music that makes you, but whenever I'm feeling sad, I love to hear music that makes me more sad, even though that sounds like counterproductive.
I
but
get that.
I really enjoy feeling.
Yeah.
I love realizing I'm a human, and even though, it might dig you in a deeper hole at the time, it's a great feeling to really just be yourself and relate to the music you're listening to and just cry it out. It's fucking, crying is like, as soft as it may sound, it's probably the most healthy thing for you.
I'm healthy as hell. I'm going to live forever.
the fountain of youth.
Yeah. It's like walking by the pool and someone dumps a bucket of water on your head. You might as well jump in.
There's I guess there's many songs that make me not relationship wise sad, because I have a wife, so it's not even that.
The best.
Oh, the best.
The best.
Lynn is the fucking.
We love Lynn.
The GOAT. She's the GOAT. Bethsaida Lynn Moschetti. Bethsaida. That's her real name is Bethsaida. Yeah, it's not Lynn. Lynn's her middle name. Her real first name is Bethsaida.
That's awesome.
Real Rakin. You know what I mean? But there's a song that, I'm a big Drizzy fan. Shout out Drizzy.
Yeah, you love him.
Big Drizzy fan. And on the Scorpion album, I believe it's Scorpion at the end. It's at the end of a. I'm a little drunk right now, so I can't remember the name of the track. I believe it's at the end of March 14th. I could be wrong, but I think it's at March 14th, which is the song that he, at the end of side A, where he talks about his kid, that whole track, when he has the kid, like the whole reveal that he had his son, Adonis, and all that. At the end, the beat switches, and it goes to, it's basically his version of Khalil's interlude, which is a Boys to Men interlude. And I love the Boys to Men interlude, but it's the way Drake does it that I love it more. And I can't get through that song without crying, because it just reminds me of my mom every time. And basically, if anybody out there knows, Drake says, no one to guide me. I'm all alone. No one to cry on. I need shelter from the pain, from the rain, to ease the pain from changing from a boy to a man. And the way he sings it, the way the piano chords hit, it just reminds me of my mom so much, and the feeling of when she left. I need shelter from the rain to ease the pain of changing from a boy to a man. And I've said on this podcast before, I didn't become a man until she died. And I hate the fact that that's a fact.
Yeah.
Because when she passed, I knew the jig was up. Like I'm either gonna kill myself or I gotta man the fuck up. And that's why that line, that verse, when I heard that shit, every time I hear it, I want to play it right now, but YouTube will fucking murk me for that. But it's just
sounds expensive.
That song is just, it's tough. It's tough, man. But I enjoy to bask in the I don't even know if you can't even consider it humility, but I just hearing that, even though I'm crying, I feel closer to her. I feel like she's with me listening to it, and we're hugging each other. And
yeah, you are.
It's tough, man, because I have a kid and
You've been writing in that book you were telling me about?
Oh, the book. Nah, I was talking about it today. I haven't written in it. My son's about to be 6. I mean, he is 6. He's going to be 7 next year, and I haven't written in it since he was like 2 or 3.
Get your pen out, Daddy.
Yeah, I gotta hit it. It's fucking life's tough, brother. You know what I mean?
And I had to have said it last time I was with you here, but I always say life is never fair, but it's always beautiful.
Facts. That's a factory. That's a facsimile machine.
That's it, man. It's
oh my God.
When I have been in those absolutely fucked mental spaces, you obviously family, friends, right? But sometimes it's a fucking tree in the wind. Sometimes it's a flower. Sometimes it's like the various amazing dogs of New York City. Sometimes it's absolutely flushing a 5-iron. Sometimes it's perfectly scrambling eggs, and sometimes you think that you're lowering the bar, but other times you are like celebrating simplicity, and you got to stack those wins. You just got to stack those wins.
You got to stack them. You know what's weird for me? Talking to you, and this might sound very strange, but I never met Justine. Never met her. But you know what fucking pisses me off is the fact that I never got to experience you two together. That hurts me. Even though, like, let's just hypothetically say you guys never are together ever again, right? Which is the consensus that we're kind of thinking that's going to happen, right?
I think if you're a betting man, that's where you should put your money.
I don't even want to put my money anywhere. I just want to say that. Let's just speak hypothetically here, right? When you came on the show last and talked about her, I wish I was there to witness you.
Yeah, but you did.
I wish, not in person though. Yeah. I just wish I could have hung out with you two and witnessed the chemistry, the harmoniousness of you two, and just I wish I could have been there for at least one moment. Just because I love to, I told you I love to feel. Yeah. So I wish I could have just been around at least one time, you two.
Yeah.
And I hate that I wasn't.
For what it's worth, I do think that I will find that feeling again. And I think that if you had to choose one moment between the two of those to witness, it would be the new one.
I love that. And I'm confident I will.
I'm a likable guy.
Very. Extraordinarily likable.
Yeah, no, but I also think you did. I think a lot of people did. And, like I said, we don't talk, but she's got a great network of people. She's an incredibly talented, special young woman, and I know she's crushing it.
Let me ask you this. I don't want to harp on her too much. It's just that I'm so interested in...
I mean, we're 45 minutes in. Just do it.
We're more than that, I think.
Is it? Fuck.
It's about that.
Sorry.
I've been out of that dating pool, breakup pool for so long.
Yeah.
I've been with my wife since 2011.
God bless.
We've been married since 2017. So we've been together a while.
Yeah.
Do you guys still follow each other on social media?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she's like I don't think I'm on the close friends anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's not real life. I don't fucking care. And like, we're not posting people we're dating or anything like that. So I'm sure that day will come, and hopefully neither of us give a fuck when that happens, but I have nothing but respect for her.
I understand that, but like, I just think like, is it healthy? Do you think it's healthy?
I don't think that anything about social media is healthy, so probably not.
I just know me personally, like if I were to exit a relationship with somebody, there's no way out. I'm not following you. I can't, I don't want to see, even if you're having if you go to see a barista and he's making you a fresh latte.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I don't give a fuck. Like that's just, I can't, it's gonna just bring me back into even if you're going out to buy a new puppy, like even if it has nothing to do with another man, it's just that maybe I'm just too weak for that.
Yeah.
I totally, when I'm done with you, that's it.
Yeah, I totally get that. And you could certainly be right that that's the healthiest way to approach it. But I'd like to think that we're always going to be silently rooting for one another.
Huh.
I know I will. And I think that major accomplishments, like I said, it's bullshit, but major accomplishments will be up there. And I don't know that I'd find out any other way. And if she finds limelight, success, happiness, obviously romantically that would be really difficult to see, right? But I still think I would find a lot of joy in seeing her visiting her family or booking a show or having a special day with her friends.
Oh, because she acts on Broadway, right?
She's a musical theater actress.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. And no, it's probably not fucking healthy. Yeah. But until I have a reason to not follow her, I'm going to follow her, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't talk, so it's not like I'm like going to her profile all the time. Like that would be super unhealthy. But, if I see something, whatever.
Yeah, I just find that, because again, I've been so like over a decade removed from that pool.
Yeah.
So certain things I wouldn't be able to grasp for a person that's more in the modern pool.
Yeah.
I'm not in the modern day pool, so I can't, but that to me is just like, I don't know if I could. I know me, I'm an emotional guy. I get angry like at the fucking drop of a dime. I don't know if I could handle that type of shit. I don't know. It's just,
I don't know that I can either. So, stay tuned for episode 3, I guess. At least where I'm at now. But, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. And like I said, she's always going to be a pillar of my life, and wishing her the absolute best. And I think it would be weirder for me to unfollow her than it is for me to follow her.
Gotcha.
That's just what I think and what I feel. I don't know.
See, I wish this wasn't a podcast and I could dive deeper in this, because I want to know what the fuck went wrong. But I'm in a weird spot because this is a public thing.
Yeah. No, honestly, you're not going to get the answers you want out of asking me those questions on camera or off. I don't have them.
Which makes it worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the modern pool is funny because I'm not on any of the apps, which is really funny.
Well, I don't think if you live in a place that you live, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Because you are in like this fucking cesspool of like, live life, fuck, drink, smoke, enjoy life.
Yeah, but it's like,
let's just live and breathe together.
So not me, it's funny. It's weird. And, it doesn't feel natural, I guess, to me and for like my wants and needs.
Gotcha. So let's
still navigating.
Let's dive into life after Justine. Right?
Yeah.
So that happens. You leave the beef bar first. Before that,
just prior to that. Yeah.
Right. So you leave the beef bar in hopes to open Pretty Tony. Then this happens in that kind of order, right?
Yeah. So I was going to, take a step back professionally. I had heard through, the wildly incestuous bartending network of something new that was going to be opening in Soho on West Broadway, which is a street I've already worked on before. I could only assume I was going to see a bunch of regulars. I loosely knew some people that were going to work there, had worked with them in the past. My good friend Hugo was going to work there. And I was just like, you know what? Let me just turn off my fucking brain, drop the corporate email, and shake fucking drinks, because I know I'm good at that. Enter the Corner Store, which is, kind of the hardest reservation in New York City to get still 8 months in, I believe now.
Is that right?
Yeah. I've seen every fucking celebrity. Like, I'm so jaded from that anyways. I just don't care. Yeah. So we're, it's part of like, I'll probably give some generics here. It's part of like a bigger corporate restaurant group, even though the restaurant certainly doesn't feel that way. It's a really special place. It's super dope. And like, yeah, we had a really robust opening training. I think it was like 6 weeks or something, like wild. Like, yeah. And I was doing, me, like I was doing both at one time. I gave a dumb long notice at Beef Bar, and I was going to training and then going to Beef Bar and closing and then going to training the next morning, that whole fucking game that I'm doing right now. And yeah, I think it was like the night before we had to take like our final exam, which like I know sounds insane to people who aren't in the business, but like, if you want a good staff, the only way they can be good is if they're confident. The only way they can be confident is if they're knowledgeable. And the only way they can be knowledgeable is if you fucking pound them with information and they retain it. So the day of like our final exam, the night prior is like when we broke up. So this is actually like really funny and awful. But, had my final exam, fucking smacked the shit out of it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What consists of this final exam? What does it entail?
Several questions about the menu, maybe listing. I don't remember exactly.
So is this written or verbal?
Both. So you'll have a written piece, which will, be on allergies and item descriptions. And there's 3 cheeses in this dish. What cheeses are they? And what wines do we do by the glass? And we don't have a Sancerre, but what's the wine we have that's closest to that? And what vodka is in this cocktail? And what so on and so forth.
This is the final exam for the Corner Store. Mm-hmm. And this is not only for the bartending position. Mm-hmm. Is this for like a server in general? Because you're asking food questions now. So
yes, I mean the Corner Store is like full service at the bar. Like everyone who sits there is eating.
Okay.
So yeah, figure there was one test for servers and bartenders, and then maybe a shorter, let's say, test for bussers and runners and support
I'm just
staff.
interested in this whole process because this is a side that most
long.
people aren't going to ever experience.
Yeah, no. And I mean, a lot of restaurants that are not fucking very good at what they do, frankly, don't do this kind of thing. Probably something like 50 questions, something like that. Like
written and verbal.
So it was like written 50 questions, and then you do what they would call like a serve out, which is essentially like role playing someone's entire dining experience.
Really?
And they'll say, oh, I'm allergic to alliums. I'm allergic to tree nuts. And then you have to like in the moment, tell them what they can get. And
really,
they'll ask questions. Yeah, it's really important to like do this kind of stuff to like make them, because not every, like you and I conversationally, like we're good. But like not everyone is. Like people need to have these, like think of it like having an audible in football. Like you have to have these like backup plans like scripted out in your brain, because you don't know exactly where the road in front of you is going to take you when serving people. Everyone's different.
It's all about accommodation.
Exactly. And like not fucking up, because some of it is serious. Like, if someone
someone could die if they have an allergy.
Exactly. And then it's like, you see who doesn't work, you see who's adequate, and you can see who's great. And let's just say that was on a Friday. Like the Thursday night was when we broke up.
Wow. So you had all this pressure. You were already stressing over this test.
Yeah, getting close with these people, talking about getting engaged any day now. Like,
yeah, because you had the ring.
Yes.
You had it. I remember you talking to me saying, I'm ready. I have the ring.
Yeah.
I'm about to pop the question.
Yeah.
And then,
obviously you have that. And like, part of me was ready to just walk away. You know, I don't want to see these people again. This is so embarrassing. But I didn't. And I'm really happy I didn't. So yeah, I remember doing great on both, which I do because like I like to cook. So like thinking about allergies and food preparation is easy for me, and talking on my feet is easy for me, regardless of my emotional state. Like I said, like I just wear a mask for a living. So yeah, I remember them like saying how, you know, everyone does their like role playing piece one at a time. So I'm taking this test and like, I'm sure if you knew me and were looking at me, you'd be like, oh, something's up with him. But then you put the mask on and you do the little role play and you do great. And, you know, they sit you down to tell you how great you did. And then I just like, I don't know if I was like sobbing, but I was definitely like streaming. And they're like giving me this great news. They're like, you did so good. You're obviously going to be a leader here. We want you to help training if we open new locations, like all this stuff. And they were just like,
what's wrong with
what? And, you know, I'm sure I said when we sat last time that, like, you know, being a restaurant manager is like, you know, you're also a part-time therapist for your entire fucking staff.
It's like a barbershop. It's like a barbershop.
Exactly.
Really.
So one of them I had met briefly in the past, ever so briefly, came into Beef Bar. And when I left, he called me maybe like an hour later, and was like, hey man, like, are you good? And I don't remember if I told him what happened, but essentially I was like, no, I'm not good. Thanks for reaching out. And you know, that'll always stick with me that he did that. Because no one wants to do that. No one wants to talk to someone who's essentially a stranger and be like, hey, you seem sad.
Yeah.
Why are you sad? But that'll always mean a lot to me. And I'll always fuck with that dude. And I'll always, you know, do a favor for him even if I really don't want to.
Or
work a Sunday or whatever the fuck he needs. Like, I'll do it because you held me down when I was, you know,
at your lowest. Yeah.
A mess. Yeah.
So you had your test.
Yeah.
Passed with flying colors.
That shit's easy.
You broke down in front of them.
Yeah.
You told them. I don't know. What'd you tell them? You were breaking. They were questioning you. Like,
I don't think they.
You all right, buddy?
In the moment, no. I think they're just like, okay, like have a good day. And then I went to Beef Bar. Like I had to work. I had my little suit bag with me.
So at this point, Corner Store wasn't even open yet.
No.
When did Corner Store officially open?
Fuck. I think it was like the second week of September.
So when did you get the call that you're in?
I mean, that I was hired. I mean, that was, you know, weeks prior to the testing. And it just kind of, I'm fucking 38, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm generally, if I want to serve or bartend, like I'm generally hired before I sit down with anyone. It's more of like a vibe check and like, where are you at in life? Why do you want to bartend right now when your resume is like beverage director, general manager? And I just said, you know, like the last job was completely encompassing. And, you know, you're talking to a manager who's making $90K a year and telling them that you don't want to make $90K a year. You want to make 130 in 3 days and then do other stuff on the side, you know, kind of makes sense to them. And they're like, okay, like let's get it. You're going to be reliable. You're a fucking adult. They don't have to worry about you drinking on the job or any of the other bullshit that comes along with it.
$130, you got it.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
It's all about keeping the beak wet. And everybody's beak has to be soaked.
Yeah, we're fucking dripping at this place.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, but it's hard. We work really fucking hard. Everyone there does.
Dude, I'm not even questioning that.
And all people want is to see us fall.
Really? What do you mean by that?
There's so much hype. It's like rooting for the 96 Bulls and being like a...
So you're saying the Corner Store is so hyped that people just want to see you fail.
Yeah.
There's people in the industry like that just want to see you fail.
Well, yes, I'm sure there are, but more so like the guests.
Really?
I would say, not our guests, but like the general public is waiting for us to blow it. And I think that's not
so weird.
That's not corner store specific. I remember when Per Se lost all their stars. Everyone was like, fuck that place. Like, yeah, they had it coming. So expensive. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Just
like,
bandwagon beef blowing.
yeah, there's a fucking dishwasher there that might get let go because of this. Like, can we chill the fuck out? Yeah, no, I like that shit. I like that pressure. I think it's fun. And I think we deliver. So,
yeah, totally.
you know, and again, I'm just a bartender there, which is really nice.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's challenging to not be able to institute change that you would do if you were in that position of power that you usually had. But, you know, I've done a better job of separating it and just being there to make money and clock in and do my best and clock out and go home.
So you went from being a beverage director of a highly calibrated establishment to downgrading yourself to become a bartender. What was the reasoning behind that? Because that doesn't not only take a man, it takes somebody who isn't scared of the humbling process.
Yeah. Internally, it's more money in significantly less time. That's the easy thing about it, you know, and I think you know about me that I'm willing to sacrifice everything to do something great that is my opus.
Yes.
But now I'm at a point where I'm like, if this isn't something great or it isn't my opus, like I don't want to sacrifice shit other than fucking 8 hours on a Wednesday. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I still do my work on the side that I'm really proud of and I think it's really cool. And I get to kind of flex my artistic muscles and whatnot, which is dope, and get to teach people, which I love. But yeah, I guess I just don't fucking care anymore.
What's the time frame in between the corner store and this place called Signal? Because to those listening that don't know what Signal is, it is this fantastic nightclub in Brooklyn, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. And I'm like not a nightlife guy.
Dude, I mean, I remember seeing the pictures of the exterior of this place. This one, it takes up like fucking, at least in pictures, half a block. And it is just, everything is just rustic. The entire exterior is like this rusted metal.
Yeah.
There's no sign. It doesn't say Signal.
No.
It is the quintessential New York City hip type of vibe.
Yeah, it's cool. I definitely, when people ask me about it, I just say it's kind of like Berlin meets Bushwick.
Ooh.
And again,
that's a bar because of the rustic wall.
Yeah, like
it kind of correlates.
Yeah, that's definitely a space I think they drew inspiration from. And I was originally just brought in as a consultant to do their opening menu. And obviously, you know, I'm comfortable wearing many hats, and I've loosely...
So how long? Hold on. How long are you at Corner Store before this opportunity arises? And how did the opportunity actually arise?
So let's say Corner Store opened in September. I think it was like mid-December that I took the initial call with them and hearing about them looking for someone to do their cocktail menu. That opportunity arose, through Josh Cohen, who's one of my best friends, an incredibly talented chef. You know, someone who I would happily spend the rest of my life working my ass off to like let the world see how great he is.
Wow.
And he was doing food for them. We opened a restaurant together years ago called Gem, which we spoke about. Oh, he was
a part of Gem, which we talked about last time.
He was the executive sous chef at Gem.
Wow.
And we hit it off professionally, and he's just since been, you know, one of my very best friends. And, you know, he had been contracted by them to do food, and then they just expressed like, hey, do you know anyone who might want to do a cocktail menu? I remember I was sitting outside having a coffee at the local coffee shop, and he called me and was just like, hey, like, I just totally put your name into the hat for this, and like, you're going to get a call today. And I spoke with ownership briefly, and we kind of hit it off and planned to follow up. And I kind of typed up like a spec menu based on the loose parameters of what I thought Josh was going to be offering for food, to kind of complement that and maybe utilize some of his waste or cross-utilize ingredients or, all that kind of stuff. And put together, we're the first iteration of a really fucking cool menu, in my opinion, and something that like you're just not getting at a nightclub.
Yeah.
And we have to do things that I don't necessarily like. I wouldn't write up a menu and have Red Bull on my bar, but like I need to have Red Bull on my bar because it's a fucking nightclub. But we do have some really special things. Some really fun cocktails that I think are like nuanced, but also approachable. And then in a nightclub, dealing with that volume, you also have to like account for like speed. So that was kind of fun, like making something special and layered that can be made in like 7 seconds. So kind of front loading all of that preparation to be done by my dumbass at 10 in the morning on a Thursday to be enjoyed by someone at 12:30 at night who only has to wait for like 10 seconds. It's fun. It's a cool challenge.
So you're essentially saying you're doing a lot of prep work for the PM people.
Exactly. For the bartenders. Like for most of the drinks, the bartenders can just pick up a bottle and pour it over ice. Making this cocktail as a batch, the stuff you tasted earlier, like making it as a batch.
Similar to what you brought here.
Yeah,
like it was already prepped.
Those are on the menu. Both of those are on the menu at Signal.
And they were phenomenal.
Thanks. So
especially that first joint.
Yeah, the green market is fire. Yeah, I mean, there's not many places out there doing things similar. There's a couple places, I like fucking love Night Moves in Williamsburg. They have some really cool cocktails, and certainly some others that are pouring some really cool wines or have really cool spirits on the back bar. But, the cocktail program, it's important to me. And I think it shows our intention as like a hospitality forward venue, which I think is really great. And most people are buying fucking beer. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of heartbreaking, but like at the end of the day, like knowing that people are getting this stuff and appreciating it is really special. And, we have a really killer and like really robust, like non-alcoholic offering, like maybe too much, but like
really
like our non-alcohol, I think the best cocktail on the menu is a non-alcoholic cocktail.
Straight up mocktail.
Yeah. It's like a non-alcoholic Fernet. So we call it like Fernet and Coke in quotes. So it's like a non-alcoholic Fernet that we make in-house with like a ton of fucking herbs and botanicals. And it's kind of a pain in the ass. We sous vide it, whatever, a little bit of tonic, and then we make like a Coca-Cola foam to go on top. So you kind of like throw it back and you get like the foam and the Fernet at the same time. So it's like, I've never been a sober person. Like I've never done that, but I've I know people in my life that are like sober for, reasons of addiction. And I know people in my life that are sober for health concerns. I've known people who aren't drinking because they're married. I know people that aren't drinking because like they drank way too fucking much yesterday and they don't want to smell tequila. So like I've always thought it's been an incredibly underserved space, and being able to blow someone's mind is awesome. That's like what we do. And like those people, no one's getting their mind blown at 11 o'clock at a nightclub if they don't drink or do drugs. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
I think it's really cool to provide that to people. And like, if I have 600 people in a night and 3 of them get that, like, I think that's so worth it. Like so worth it.
No, the space Signal looks crazy.
It's wild. It's fucking
the
insane.
exterior is wild. The rustic exterior. It's a straight metal establishment with massive amounts of rust. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Allergies have been killing me all week. The rustic exterior. There's no sign, no nothing. You said it's illuminated by a red light.
Yeah, we just put a red light up on the door at night. There's no photos or videos inside, which I think is great.
No insignia. No nothing, right?
Like legally, we have to have some signage, but like I don't think anyone sees it.
So,
But like legally, you have to have some kind of sign, and we do. But,
who's
like,
the brains behind? I love the name.
Yeah.
Signal is a great name,
Yeah,
and obviously it's a
so
nightclub.
good.
You have what do you have? Tapas or shit like that?
yeah. There's some dishes that are a little more substantial, and we're still kind of growing and building and finessing the space. So we're not what we're gonna be, but food is available now. Yeah, I would like aperitivo kind of Basque tapas at the moment that are all like.
Who's the brains
Really great.
behind this place?
There's several brains, honestly. There's, there's ownership comprised of like 4 people at a principal level who are all, very plugged into that like nightlife community and the DJ community, and they're all kind of audiophiles, and like this is all very foreign to me, but like I can tell you that our sound system sounds better than anything I've heard before. I certainly can't fucking tell you why. That's not my job, So yeah, I would say ownership is generally speaking like audio, nightlife, DJ driven. And
Interesting.
we're lucky enough that they've kind of empowered and seen the value in the operations team to carry out the food and beverage piece. So yeah, it's been great. It's fucking opening something, so it's always going to be a nightmare to a certain extent, but like the demand is pretty wild. I'll leave corner store at 1 and I'll get there at 2 a.m. and I'll see a line that wraps around the block, and I'll be like, we're really fucking doing it. A moment for me that I was like, holy shit, we're doing it. It was like 4 weeks into soft opening. And this is a very industrial neighborhood in Brooklyn, right? I think it was 4 weeks in, maybe 5. And there was like a hot dog cart outside. Like this guy somehow heard about our spot and knew that
Just
there was
posted
going to
up.
be traffic, and decided to hook his hot dog cart up to his car, and like this was his home base now.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's like New York centric, where to me that really meant something, but it does. And we've had to talk with him and be like, yo, we have food, so like, here are the hours we're cool with you being here, and like it's great. I jump started his car the other night. Like,
Really?
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's great.
So you guys embrace him. You don't really care that much.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you got to make sure we're scratching each other's backs and not flicking each other's ears.
Wow.
But like,
I respect that.
yeah, dude, everybody's got to eat, man.
What's the name of his cart?
Oh, it's bro. I don't think he got that far. I think it's just a straight up hot dog cart.
This guy's straight
It's
gutter
not a
from the
food
bone
truck.
bristle.
It's like a cart, and everything looks good. I haven't eaten there yet, but people are fucking chowing down at 2 a.m.
Well, you figure if they're waiting in line to get in, there's a good 40 minutes where they're standing there. They might as well eat some.
Yeah, they're like stumbling out and sucking down a corn dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there any type of, since you said it was kind of like nightlife, specific, is there any sort of like specific DJs you have there frequenting, or?
I don't know that we've had many repeat performers. Certainly a couple openers that have done repeat performances. But again, like I came on as a consultant. We're only 2 weeks into me kind of having more of a manager presence there, other than like designing and executing a cocktail menu.
Really?
So I'm still kind of figuring it out. But I know that I make a positive impact every fucking second I'm there, whether it's for the staff or the guests.
Wow. So you're juggling the corner store and Signal, like
Yeah, I'm
every
bartending
night.
next to like 23-year-old kids who are like super talented that are like, you're fucking insane for going to another job right now.
And you're doing this every night.
Not every
Both.
night, but like most nights. I'm leaving. What time is it?
Right now it's
What do we got? 9:30?
9:34 in the PM.
Going right to Signal after this.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
That's
going to wake
insane.
up and golf tomorrow.
Where?
Panther Valley.
Where the
Somewhere
fuck
in
is
Jersey.
that?
It sucks. It's like 2 hours away.
2 hours where? West?
West, yeah. I had my mom saw these dope fucking kitchen chairs on Facebook Marketplace. So I like asked my mom if she could pick them up, and she's had them for like 3 weeks. So
What, for your crib?
yeah, for the crib. I love Facebook Marketplace.
Hold on
What's
one
the
second.
problem?
You see, you're a golfer, right?
Yeah.
What are you a TaylorMade guy, Callaway? What are you doing?
I'm a Titleist guy.
You're a Titleist.
I recently switched to a TaylorMade putter, and it's like my friends are like shocked. But the results are there.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, I'm not a golfer, right?
Yeah, but you
I pay
get like that
attention.
brand loyalty, right?
I pay attention.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. Again, sorry.
dying.
My allergies are shot.
No, I get it.
Drinking is making it worse.
That's
when
true.
I was a kid, I love seeing those copper TaylorMades.
Oh, sick.
You'll never forget the copper TaylorMade driver, right? That beautiful big beast.
They re-released it
They did? Mm-hmm. The copper one?
with the bubble shaft. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Bubble shaft.
The bubble shaft.
Pause.
Hey. It's cool, man. I love it. I love it. It's.
The Callaway Big Bertha is silly, dude.
I'm sure they'll re-release that too.
Then TaylorMade switched and they were doing like a navy blue color, weren't they?
Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, they make great shit.
Dude, what about the Kith joints? The Hunter Green Kith set. The Kith set
I've
was
seen-
crazy.
I've seen dudes that have the whole shit top to bottom. The bag, the clubs, the woods, the putter. Obviously, they're fucking dripping in the clothes.
I love it. And I'm not even a golfer, but dude, I
cool.
appreciate a ping with the plastic fucking.
Yep. Golf fashion has changed a lot because, I played a lot as a kid and would, be pretty competitive for, someone 10 to 13 years old. And I hated the fucking culture. Like the people I was playing with, the way they spoke, their parents, what they said.
Golf is a very holier than thou snooty culture.
They didn't remind me of my friends. And I was just like, fuck this shit. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I can play golf as an adult, but like, I don't want to be, ensconced in this waspy bullshit. So really stopped from like, maybe I'd go to the driving range with my dad once or twice a year, but yeah, early teens just stopped playing. And then late teens, early 20s would play very casually. And then COVID happened and I was just like, I'm gonna buy new golf clubs. And I did, and I've been playing a lot ever since.
Really?
It's been nice. It's been good for me.
What are you shooting mostly now? What kind of clubs?
Titleist T100s.
That's what you said.
Or my
Titleist. Straight Titleist, baby.
So expensive and dumb. But
It's
they're
an
good.
expensive culture. It's not even because of the clubs, right? You can get the clubs and you're Gucci. It's the country club membership.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a member. I play public courses unless, I get an invite. But yeah, unfortunately with, how much the game has grown, the prices are insane. And being a New York City golfer is tough because like everywhere around here, West Orange, Bloomfield, like all these places that are kind of just across the water, they know people are coming from Manhattan. So, I've seen, a place like Rock Spring in West Orange where like I used to sneak onto as a kid. And then for most of my life was spending between $70 and $90 to play it like prime time on the weekend. It's like $180 now to play that course.
Insane, dude.
Yeah, it's tough. It's sad. And, I feel like the look of your average golfer might have changed a lot over the last 5 years. But, it's hard to feel that it's still approachable financially for your average person.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think that's across all sports. I'm a bowler.
Yeah.
And even that, like, house to house, they're trying to make money.
Yeah, I get it.
The average game is like fucking, you go to a place on a weekend, you go to a Bolero or something, they're going to charge you $10 a game. Dude, that goes by in fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah, what are you playing, like 5-6 games or something?
It's absurd. But, everybody wants to make money now. They can't really afford to, they got to pay their bills. And, the whole culture has shifted across all games, all genres of fucking influence. You know what I mean? I always wanted to golf, but it was something that I never, if I did, I'd become an obsessed jerk off and forget about it. You know how I am. Like when I love something, I just dive in And that's something that I'm going to stay away
It's
from.
hard to not take it too seriously. And I try to internalize that when I'm like playing with friends who are like, you know, smoking weed or drinking a bunch. Like I don't do that when I play golf because I'm like hyper competitive against myself and I want to beat the shit out of myself the last time I played that course every time I go out. But I try to keep that all up here.
I fucking hate most of the golfers because they're very pretentious.
Yeah.
You know, they're holier than thou. They look down upon you. They're very condescending golf players. So that's why I never kind of like dove into that world because it's like, you know, I could beat the shit out of you any day of the fucking week.
Yeah.
Forget golfing. Let me put these knuckles on you. Feel me?
For me, I've always taken a lot of joy in embarrassing them.
Yeah, me too. I guess I would like that, but
you know, I remember I was in California for a couple
money
months
to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I was playing this super fucking elite club. I think it was like $250 for the round, something ridiculous.
Jesus.
I'm playing with these guys in their 60s. They both are like Trump head covers to the fucking nines.
Beef blowing, orange Cheeto.
Yeah, and I was just like, can't wait to remind these guys how fucking old they are and smoke them. And it felt really good. And I was nice and cordial and civil, and we certainly did not talk about politics. But in my head, I was loving it.
Yeah. No, I love the sport. I appreciate it.
It's cool. I like the exposure.
I don't have enough time for it. You know?
Yeah, no one does. I don't. But it's cool.
Especially
it's
nowadays, you're deep in your dipping your beef and fucking.
Yeah, well, if I can play once a week, I'm doing good. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's a great way to meet people you'd never otherwise speak to. And
your midsection's a hot pot.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm playing the Muni course in Queens, like,
it's like
you know,
your midsection's a hot pot.
Mm-hmm.
What is in store for the future of you? You're currently juggling these two spaces, the corner store, Signal. You're bouncing around, dating here and there all over the fucking place. What is in store for you as a career, as a human in general?
I guess if I could say I've accomplished one thing mentally over the last 6 months, it's that I have no idea and that I'm okay with that. I mean, it's got to be pretty Tony, whether I open up a sandwich shop in fucking rural Pennsylvania when I'm 70 or if it's what I want it to be here in New York. I don't know. But I will never be complacent in love or hospitality. That's all I know.
That's the one thing that I think that intrigues me the most and that keeps me on edge is I want to see Pretty Tony become a thing.
Yeah.
So badly.
Me too.
And like that's my personal main focus.
Yeah.
You send me pictures of spaces that you're looking at.
Yeah,
and I watch them go by. Like literally like with the wind.
Yeah.
And I hope one day you text me a picture of a space.
Yeah.
Or a listing, a real estate listing, and I'm like, this is the one, and you're like, I signed the lease. That's what I want the most.
We got close on one. We got really close on one. And like I said, I could do it now. I just don't think this one space and the general situational logistics necessarily are best suited for a project that I want to be as ambitious as that. I think I can make it something great. I know I can make it something great. I just don't think it can or should be that. Which sucks. Because I don't want to open anything else right now. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to not walk through this door because I think I'm gonna find another one. Like maybe that door is after walking through this door, which it sucks. But like I don't ever want to be remembered for being the owner and operator of like one restaurant. I want to be remembered as someone who like shared a wealth of knowledge and provided a livelihood for like good, hardworking people. Restaurants open and close. Like, I don't think I'll ever open something that lasts forever. But like, you know, I don't remember who the quote is. It's probably Danny Meyer because it's always fucking Danny Meyer, but it's something along the lines of like, you know, people don't remember what they ate. People don't remember what they drank, but they remember how you made them feel. And for me, it's like that should ring true with your guests and frankly, more importantly, your staff. Because like I can't be great unless I have 20 other people that feel like being great. So
Amen.
I just want to create an environment where people want to be great, whether they're an actor that serves 2 nights a week and is like, you know, when I'm here, I'm going to be great. Or if it's someone who is aspiring to be the next great chef or the next great somm or the next great bartender or whatever, like,
Yeah.
you're not going to be shit if you don't cultivate an environment where people feel supported and safe and pushed to a certain extent. So
Totally.
I have no fucking idea what is to come of my life. But I guarantee if we sat down and did this again in 10 or 11 months, it would probably look entirely different than whatever I would tell you right now.
Well, judging by how the last one went,
Yeah.
it literally, we recorded and your life completely altered.
Yeah.
Immediately after. So I'm hoping
I don't know
that
how to top it. I'll walk back in here and like, I'll be black somehow. That's the only way it could be like a drastic change. Yeah, no, I don't know. I still feel the heat on my back, you know, figuratively, but I feel like I'm walking out of the fire at this point.
yeah,
And I'm just not fucking afraid of anything anymore.
that's great.
Yeah. You know, if I made it this far, I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't think I have to worry about that worst case scenario anymore. Although I still think about it, I don't really have to worry about it. So yeah, it's going to be a telling couple months, and you know, I'm just so thankful for my family and friends and
Yeah.
the dogs of New York City for getting me this
Yeah.
far.
Well, there's 2 things that I wish for you. Number 1, that you finally find the Pretty Tony space.
Yeah.
And 2, that you work less.
Yeah.
That's the 2 things that I wish.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, me too. There's 2 things that could get me to work less, and it's a partner and a dog. And until I have either of those things, it's probably not going to change. And even if it did, it'd be temporary. You know,
Yeah.
if I had a partner and then ended up having a family, like, I don't want to see how hard I'd work if I had children. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, I guess that's the awkward
But you want to be
medium,
there,
right?
like, fuck, that balance sounds so scary for someone like me.
Yeah, I can only tell you my personal thing is like I try to work less.
Yeah, yeah, of
I don't want to
course.
fucking work, bro.
Yeah, obviously I want to build
wanna be
something
around the
that's
fam.
sustainable. Yeah, but building that thing to be sustainable sounds scary. Someone I was seeing recently said something that like it I think of it all the time. I think of it every time I hit fucking accept on a iCal invitation. She said that I was addicted to the impossible.
Wow.
And it fucking annoys me how right she is.
Yeah.
And I think if you were to ask Justine that, she would totally agree. And I think that if you were to ask me if I wanted to change that, I would say no.
Wow. It's definitely a bar. Addicted to the impossible.
I'm doing it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm off. I'm going to go get dinner. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to be addicted to the impossible.
It's definitely a bar.
You know, it's just me right now. So I like need to be great. I need to sweat. And I'll figure it out.
It's also mildly a distraction.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
To mask your what's really going on up here in the noggin.
Yeah, like temporarily, right? Like I'm not afraid of my emotions, and I know that I'm kind of climbing this mountain, and I have Sherpas like you and my therapist and my sister and my good friend Antonio, who I can't fucking wait to get back from London, who's been gone forever, and fucking Perez and Madden and Anthony and Steve and Hugo, and honestly, it's like you start listing these people and you're like, I have no fucking right to be sad, even though I do, right? And it's normal. I'm just like, fuck. The scroll is pretty long. And the people, over the last couple months, the version of disappointing people changed a lot. And I'm happy to calibrate that back to something a little different. But yeah, I don't want to disappoint them.
I got to tell you, there's something about this character, Hugo,
Unbelievable guy.
that I'm interested in.
Unbelievable
I want to meet
guy.
him.
He's so goddamn funny. He's such dad humor guy, incredibly hardworking and talented. I remember we were setting up Beef Bar, and I was just like, we were talking about what big ice cubes we were going to get. And he was so integral. And, he consults with me now. Even though he moved, he's still like remotely on the Signal project and on Terravita, which we never spoke about, which is the next one that's starting
He's involved
soon.
at Signal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he launched that whole shit with me. And even though he moved, he's kind of like my remote guy now. Like, hey, can you make this new button and toast?
Wow, I thought
Change
he
the
died
price
with
here.
Beef Bar. He's with you in the Signal too.
Yeah, he's my guy. It's different now that he's not here, but he still helps. Yeah, dude, it's always a team thing. Like it's always
I gotta get Hugo in here.
Just get him up here, man.
Gotta get him in
hates
here.
flying, so he's gonna fucking drive from Florida. That's how he rolls. But yeah, he's the best.
I gotta tell you,
He's the toughest guy I know. Like when I think about all the people I know, like someone who I would have zero chance in a fight with. He would work me in like 30 seconds. Like I'd be a blob, but like dude doesn't want to fly in an airplane. I get it. And now more than ever, like it's apparently not chill.
Oh my God. Dude, I have fucking,
And like,
let me tell you something, Hugo, I hate Florida. I want Putin to drop a nuke on that fucking state. I hate Florida. Hugo, I like you. I don't like Florida.
I get that. I'm getting that.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do it.
Can't do it.
Maybe one day that'll change. I doubt it.
I don't see it.
Yeah, you know the drilly. I mean, there's many places I aspire that I want to try to go to. Florida.
What's number one?
Places that I want to, I don't know. Bro, you got to remember, this is a person, you're talking to a person who's never been much of anywhere. I've been to Florida, though. Don't say I haven't been there. I've been there twice.
When your son gets a little older, you'll probably take a sick trip, right?
So the last time I went to Florida
Well, it definitely is him.
was
right?
with him.
Yeah, of course.
And it was a disaster. He got a fever, the whole fucking nine. It sucked. Fuck Florida. We got stuck on the airplane, bro. Fuck United.
Oh,
and
air
fuck
travel
Florida.
now? Air travel is so disrespectful.
Oh
it's
my
crazy.
God. Now-
It's like riding the subway now. It's like, oh, you're gonna deal with it. You're
Dude,
gonna
it
wait.
sucks.
I don't care that you spent $850.
Sucks.
We'll figure it out. You'll be fine.
Here's where I want to go for real.
Yeah.
So I'm half Italian, half Puerto Rican. I've never been to Italy. I want to go there.
You should. It's really special.
But I'm going to wait till my kid's older.
Yeah, wait till you can appreciate it.
There's no point for,
Yeah.
me to go without him.
Yeah. You gotta
My
plan.
dad's going, my dad's never been there. My dad's 62. He's never been to Italy.
Oh, it's gonna be huge.
He's going next month for my cousin's wedding. And I can't go.
Where are they going? What city?
Positano.
I've been.
I know you have. You're a sick fuck.
Pretty amazing.
You shine the war helmet in many places.
Oh man, Positano was great. And I really wanted to hate it because it is kind of touristy, but it's
beautiful, right?
really beautiful. It's otherworldly. Yeah.
I want to go, man, but
Yeah, we do this. We could just keep going.
for me to go now is like, I gotta wait till my kid's old enough. I'm gonna experience it with my son. My dad will go. My dad deserves to go without me. He hasn't been there his whole life.
Yeah.
So he's going now for my cousins. I can't go because logistically,
You're fine.
financially, it's like
expensive.
I gotta find childcare. I can't do it, bro.
Positano was the one place in Italy where I'm like, oh, I'm getting pounded here. Pounded. But I didn't really care. You know what I mean? It's the kind of place where you're spending so much money on a hotel room that you're like, oh man, they're giving us a free bottle of Prosecco. That probably cost them like €3. And it's like you're justifying it in your head that there's value there. But it's so special and beautiful that, you know, it's great.
I want to go bad, man. I really do.
Go.
One day. As long as my kid's happy.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
You'll go. Italy's always going to be beautiful.
It'll always be there.
Yeah. And I think it's one place that's like, you know, you can enjoy that well beyond your father's age right now.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
You go to Thailand as like a 70-year-old, you're going to fucking die there. You know what I mean? It's so hot and like you're going to want to be adventurous. Like go there right now. But like Italy, like get the jazzy out.
I want to go to Italy and I want to go to Japan bad. Japan is another place, but that's like so, bro, you got to remember, I'm a high maintenance dude.
Yeah.
I don't like being in cars past 3 hours, let alone a fucking plane.
Yeah. I was going to be going to Japan this year. Not anymore. But a good friend of mine just took a job as a bar manager in Tokyo. So I think there's a chance I'll probably go visit him in the next 6 months or so.
I imagine your friend is elite because
he's elite.
The Japanese have such a high attention to detail.
Yeah. He's a Japanese American. He's fluent. Super talented guy. But the pay is fucking terrible. Comparatively to what we make here. Like it's enough to live there because the cost of living is so much lower, but like.
Really? It is?
I fucking hope. That's what he's basing this decision on. That's what he's telling me. But we're also really spoiled in what we do and where we do it. So, you know. He's excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be good for him.
So what are we going to do, man? What's in store for you? So right now you're at Signal.
I'm at Signal. I'm at the corner store.
You're breaking your back.
Yep. There's another consultation for a space called Terra Vita down by Battery Park, by where the Staten Island Ferry comes in. That's way more of a fastball of a project. That's going to be very plug and play. That'll be 2 to 3 weeks of my time on site.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, because I've had such a long runway to get there that everything's like, the back end is done. The wine list is done. The cocktail recipes have been tested. They're printed out. Just got to observe a little construction and make sure the drains are in the right spot and, you know, meet the staff, walk off into the sunset.
You're just flooding yourself with work.
Mm. I have been thinking more recently about like taking a trip when all of these places are open and operational. But yeah, the thought of traveling solo is not super interesting to me. I really would like to take my sister to Paris. I think would be sick because she's been like Duolingo for like 3 or 4 years. And I think she's gone to Paris twice in her life. She fucking loves it. And yeah, I think it would be cool. You know, I said to her in that time where I was staying with her for a few weeks, you know, this is like literally the worst circumstances for us to kind of like really reconnect. But like I'm
and rekindle and all that.
Yeah, and I'm like super thankful for it. Like we had coffee every morning for like 6 weeks.
How old is your sister in comparison to you?
3 years older than me.
Not very too far.
Dude, she used to drive me to high school, like play the CD. It's all the music I love. We used to go into Soho with my dad every Sunday, and she would go into all the fashion boutiques, which is why I know clothing and why, you know, then we would go for lunch and why I love food.
I bet she's the best. Dude.
She's the most badass. I gotta meet her. The most badass.
I gotta meet her.
But you know, she
married or no?
No, she's long-term boyfriend, coolest fucking guy ever. He's like a professional musician. He's a drummer.
What's he waiting for? Easter next year or what?
I don't know. He previously had been married. They have a really good thing going. He's great. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, who the fuck knows? I'm case in point. But I think they have a really good thing going, and she's really happy. And yeah, I think it's perfect for them.
Where does she live?
She lives in Williamsburg, so I get to see her a pretty good amount, which is great. You know,
that's fire.
A couple subway stops away. It's the best. I mean, being able to have like an impromptu coffee with her. I mean, obviously now more than ever is like great. Just knowing she's close is like empowering sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing.
That's one thing I can't relate. I'm an only child.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, you know, our parents going through the divorce as kids. Having her was amazing. It's crazy to think, as a 38-year-old man that considers himself to have pretty thick fucking skin, how much more important it has been for me to have her in this last year than having her through my childhood. Even though that was so massively important and really made me who I am.
Yeah.
Shit could have got real hairy this year without her.
Well, shout out your sister.
Yeah,
man.
she's the best. She's really the best. Yeah.
Damn. So what's in store for you in the future? What plans? I want this pretty Tony to jump off.
Honestly, the one plan I could tell you I might do is I might buy a vintage Mercedes tomorrow. Like I might.
Which one?
It was my grandfather had a 350 Mercedes SL, and it was like sky blue with navy blue interior and navy blue soft top. And it was like supposed to be my first car. And like the will got altered so that my piece of shit uncle got it, and he sold it like the next week.
Wow.
So I fucking want it.
I
don't even want it. I don't even like want it as a car. Like there's other cars I like way more. But I think emotionally and in this era of like rebuilding and reclaiming like what the fuck is mine, like I think I should have that car.
Wow.
So I might just go buy it. I found it. It's in Connecticut. It's 3 hours away.
The actual car?
Not his actual car, VIN number, but the exact spec. Same colors, same year. It's in pretty excellent condition.
Wow.
It's been on the market for 9 months, so I'm going to lowball the fuck out of this guy.
You need that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go get it. Makes no sense because my actual dumbass Audi has been breaking down every 2 weeks.
Yeah?
Yeah, I hate it.
Bro, I hear Audis have a lot of issues with them. Electrical.
I'm taking a bath. It's like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out of here.
A fresh bath?
Dude, I had to get it towed 2 weeks ago, and I get it towed to my fucking Audi specialist in Queens. Calls me the next day. He's like, hey, it started right up, man. Everything's fine. I was like, really? That doesn't make sense. It's stalled. Like, for a newer car to stall as an automatic, like, that's pretty peculiar. He's like, nah, man, you're good. Okay. I drive out to Long Island to play golf, waiting for a tow truck for 5 fucking hours because it wouldn't start. Then I tow it to my guy in Jersey who's actually a beast from Long Island, which was like several $100s of towing, but I'd rather get pounded on the tow truck so it goes to a guy that I know I trust and knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know? So it's seemingly fine for now. But knowing me in my life, I'm going to drive it to Connecticut tomorrow to buy a vintage car and it's going to shit out on me.
Wow.
Addicted to the impossible.
Well, listen, I hope that the next time that you and I meet is for the grand opening of Pretty Tony.
That'd be so special.
I got to tell you, I want that more than anything in this world.
Me too.
Is that.
Me too.
I want it to be Pretty Tony.
Yeah. That'd be pretty fucking validating.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I know it'll happen. I don't know when, but I know it will. And
I think this here is going to be some sort of energy building that it'll make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, if this doesn't, something will. You know, I'm feeling better and hopeful in some categories. So we'll see, man. You know, I feel good. I'm not afraid.
Well, listen, I love you.
I love you too, man.
I had a blast.
Me too.
Thank you for being the first return guest on the podcast.
Thanks for letting me cry.
Oh, we gotta do it. Listen, you're the best. I love you. I love you so much.
I love you too, man.
You're a fucking gemstone.
Thanks, buddy. And everyone listening, you know, lean on your people when you need to.
Lean on it.
Lean on your people.
Love you, brother.
Love you, man.
Take care.